Hello Aquarius. It is my intention to share with you today the reading that is going to give you the map of the energies for the month of July. And I know I've been leaving you guys abandoned for a while now, but because I'm making a comeback, I'm planning on giving you also the information regarding June, so we can get a better understanding of where you guys are coming from and thus gain like a long-term comprehension of the process that we are all going through. So sit back and relax, and I really hope this content helps you in your decision-making process in the future. And let's see what comes up. And we start the session so that nothing but the truth is shown, with a touch of love as well. Right, so the first reading is going to be about June. And let's see what comes up for Aquarius. Thank you for giving me a clear, direct, concise and precise answer so that everything that Aquarius can know, thus allowing them to make better choices in the future, because it is my honest intention to help you out. And if I have the chance to do so, then why not? So I'm gonna draw 3 cards to start with, and this is gonna be like the summary of the month of June for you guys, for Aquarius. What it is that Aquarius should know right now about the month of June. And we've got plenty of cards here. Let's take a look at the 3 messages we have. We start with Queen of Wands and the 3 of Pentacles. This means having the energy and the conviction to pull through and basically make the effort you have to make regarding your own projects. This is you feeling powerful enough to carry on with your duties and responsibilities and also your own work. That's a very good thing. This certainly helps your self-esteem a lot. So this is a good thing for you to have the energy to go with your own projects. And the second message is the 7 of Swords and the 5 of Cups. However, even though you're very well aware of the things that you should be doing to move forward in life, I believe that you are deceiving yourself by not facing an emotional situation you're going through right now. Which means having to let something or someone go. I don't think you're willing to do that. Or maybe you know you have to, you know that that is part of the process for you to be completely open to the possibilities, but it is not something you've been doing, because you have the 7 of Swords here. And this means, and this 5 of Cups, these 2 cards means basically that 7 of Swords is an energy of mental confusion or deceit or illusion. And the 5 of Cups is a card of disappointment, of emotional disappointment, yes, emotional conflict. So even though, as I said before, even though you've been focusing yourself on your projects, I think your emotional side has suffered a little bit. And I gotta say, with the 7 of Swords, it's partly your fault. Like, you are partly responsible of whatever is going on in your emotional experience, and this is because you're not wanting to face it, or you're not willing to make a final decision about it. And then we have the 4 of Cups, 10 of Wands, and the Queen of Cups reverse. And this again makes a reference to your emotional experience, Aquarius, because this talks about you trying to hold on to an emotional thing that is actually taking more of you than it is giving. So, I don't know, you know, with this combination of cards, it makes me feel as if you already know that this is not a good investment of your time. This is not a good thing for you. There is something to be done about your emotional needs, and you're not really looking at them because you're too focused on moving on with your life, and this is part of your life, you know. This emotional experience cannot be pushed aside. It is something you are living, and it is something you're experiencing. So it kind of concerns me when we have this combination of cards, because it means that you have the willingness, the natural willingness to push yourself to do whatever it is that is necessary for you to meet your goals. But there is an emotional baggage getting in the way because it is draining you down. And it is something that you know it is there, but you're not willing to make a final judgment about it. So let's draw 3 more cards so we can get more information about the month of June. Popped right out of the deck. Six of Cups, and it appeared like that, so I'm gonna leave it like this. And when it is in that position, I feel that what it is trying to say is how to move on, like what to do about it, what to do about that emotional situation. Should I enjoy myself in it? Should I keep spending time or investing time with my friends or that person, which I know I should let go, or should I definitely leave that as part of the past and just focus on my own new future? What to do? Well, let's draw the three cards I was saying, and let's see if we can get more understanding about the situation. Because look, if you ask me clearly, what I'm seeing is that this is really bringing you down, but I would like to know why, and I would like to know what to do about it. So what are the three things I can tell you right now regarding June, Aquarius? We have the Five of Wands, which is you participating in the process of your evolution. This is quite nice. This means that you are willing to go through the motions in a very self-aware way. But something needs to die. There is something you're trying to hold on to that is not really helping you out, because it is kind of happy, kind of miserable. What they are saying here through these cards is basically that that is something that should die, basically, because it is distracting you from your real purpose, which is yourself. This emotional situation is really taking away the energy from you, because instead of making you more pumped and excited about your own future, the future you can build for yourself, you are spending time alone or crying or maybe sobbing or worrying or thinking about someone who for some reason I feel is not thinking about you. So that's a very dense statement, but I would like you to consider it. Now, I don't really want to talk ill about anyone, and if you have a relationship going on or some really difficult situation, you know more than I do. I'm just looking at these cards. But if you want my perspective about the situation, I would invite you to consider the fact of if this relationship, this emotional situation is really helping you out, or if it is hindering you. And my bet, my guess is that it is actually draining you from your energy. So if that's the case, wouldn't it be wiser to leave it aside or leave it behind and regain your own space so you can build from the ground up something that's really solid and also passionate or emotional, or something that really makes you feel good, not this energy. This energy is like, oh, I'm gonna lose it anyway. Like, even if I try to cherish it right now, this is gonna end anyway, so there's nothing I can do about it. But let's not tell anyone. Let's just pretend that we are okay. Not really, because that, you know, you're wasting your energy. It's like RAM on a computer. And you have a process going on which you're not using it anymore. But the process is still there and it is still consuming memory, so that analogy was meant for the ones who know about computer. But if I had to give another analogy, basically you are cluttering your own life with stuff that is not really feeding your emotional needs anymore. And you should really consider that. I mean, I'm not making this up, Aquarius. Then you have the Page of Cups reversed, which means that this whole situation that you're really trying to hold on is already dead. And it is something that you have to accept. Because I don't think you're willing to accept. You're willing to go through the struggle and the difficult experiences and challenges to improve yourself. But when it comes to your own emotions, you are a very confused mess. Because you're trying to stick to something that it should be already gone. Now, for those who are in a couple, let's say you guys are destined to, because I don't think every Aquarius has to break up, but I do feel that every Aquarius is having problems in their relationships. This is because you've got to find a way to stop clinging to happiness in other people or situations and to start developing yourself. And this is a very difficult process, because if you've been depending or counting on someone else, if that someone else is taken away, then you lose your ground, basically. Let's see what these three cards have to say before we go into July. Eight of Wands reversed, Temperance, and Four of Swords. This is a truth that you can no longer ignore. This is something that you don't really have to decide anyway. Like, I don't really have a card here that says that you must make a decision. Judgment will be it. Death partly means that you need to accept the change, the inevitable change that is coming. But then you got Temperance, which means, and I feel this means that it doesn't really matter what you do, Aquarius. This situation is gonna die anyway, with or without your consent. So if that's the case, what's really important for you, more than taking care of your projects, more than moving on with your ideas and ways to develop yourself and your life, which is really great, you really need to come to terms with this situation so you can regain your consciousness, as I said before. You have Temperance and the Four of Swords, which means that it is a time to accept. June was a time for you to realize the truth about certain things, and there's no going away about that. Like, there's not really turning a blind eye anymore. It is a reality, it is here, and it's here to stay. And it is going to disappoint you quite a lot. From what I've seen from this reading, basically what I feel is that June was the time where you realized that you had to go on your own. That for one reason or another, whether it was because you fought, you argued, whether it be natural circumstances, spontaneous unfolding of life that pulled you in different directions, whatever the reason was, one of your main emotional pillars has gone. And that is something that you are trying to cover, but it is something you must accept. Because in the acceptance lies the realization that you need in order for you to focus completely and uniquely on yourself, exclusively on yourself, which is exactly what they're asking somewhat, because with Temperance and the Four of Swords and the Eight of Wands reverse means that no matter how much you focus on your projects, your emotional situation is something that really needs a closer look and acceptance on your part. Let's take a look at July, Aquarius. If the previous reading resonated with you, the one thing I can tell you right now about it is that you may want a lot of desires, you may have a lot of dreams and desires and wishes and questionings and stream of consciousness, asking questions about the nature of your life, or why are you experiencing the things you're experiencing, or things like that. But the North Node is in Leo, which is exactly your opposite sign. And that means that thinking is not enough. That now is a time of being, not thinking. So you had to drop yourself in favor of gaining yourself. And that is quite a confusing statement. Let me explain. You had to drop your own thinking process or thinking patterns in favor of getting to know who you really are on a day-to-day, like just you. Without your dreams, without your desires, without your stream of consciousness, without your expectations, without all of that mental activity, who are you? What remains? Because you see, what remains is the part of you that takes action. And that part of you that takes action cannot take action unless you're feeling good about yourself and your life. If you're not feeling good about yourself or your life, your action will reflect that and you will be less effective. Which is exactly what was being shown. Which is why you need to solve this emotional situation. You need to sort it out so you can move on without any kind of baggages in your back. But let's see what happens in July. In July you have the Seven of Swords reversed, not making this up and not picking the cards, they come off at random. I remind you of this. Look at this. These are the cards you got before. Seven of Swords reversed, Seven of Swords. This is the same cards you got before, but these are reversed now. These were the cards you were experiencing in June, like this. Like it was a situation that had you very disappointed, but you were trying to play it cool because you didn't want to give it much importance, not at that moment. Like you thought it was a situation you could get away with, or that you didn't have to resolve exactly, which you could just like leave it like it was, and no one would pay mind. But now you're coming to the realization in July, this is the invisible forces that will influence the month. You're coming to the realization that you really want to be in love, and this is not the way to go about it. This is not fair to you. You want to have a very solid situation, a very stable and firm structure. And the only way to get this is not only money, but it's also a good emotional foundation, which is what you didn't have and you were trying to play it cool. Not anymore. Seven of Swords reverse, the Four of Swords reverse will mean that you will want to experience love on such a level, you will be feeling so romantic or so wanting to experience those things, that whatever charade you're trying to pull off will not be enough anymore. And you will be feeling unfulfilled if you're trying to keep going like that. Because you want everything. And this, what you had before in July, is not everything. It is only like a masquerade or something like that. And I don't judge, I don't mean to disrespect or anything, but I am speaking from the perspective of that you deserve to have everything met. Not just some things. And you were trying to get by on some things, not everything. And June and July are the months that will switch that perspective around. What about the energies you will go through? Same card you got before. Same cards you got before. Yes, this is very logical. It makes a lot of sense. During July, the first 10 days, you will be thinking about this emotional situation. You will be contemplating it and asking whether or not this is good for you. And you will realize it is not. Because even though you're contemplating here, deep down you already know that this is not enough and this will go, this will end. So you need to get by on your own. You need to somehow find a way to become emotionally strong. So when this ends, you can keep moving on without being destroyed in the process. And the reason why I say this is because you will be contemplating this and then you will be sharing yourself with a person or whatever it is that you are resonating with. But then the King of Wands reverse means that you will somehow know that this is not for you. You will try to share your time, you will try to spend time, you will try to regain what was in the past. But the more you try, the more you will feel powerless. The more you try, the more you will feel the void this situation leaves in you, because it is not passionate enough. There is something missing. And it will be so clear to you that by the end of the month you will accept that this emotional experience needs to end. This relationship has reached its end, and it is only fair for both of you to be released of one another, so you have the space to create a new future for yourself. That's a very honorable thing, but it is a quite difficult thing if you're attached to that situation, which is why you will go through this process. And in this process, what are the 3 best advices I can give you, Aquarius? First of all, the Fool. What a beautiful card to have as a first advice. Worry not about the situation, Aquarius. Even though it can be painful or uncomfortable, if you're just capable of enjoying it and taking for what is, a chance for yourself to be realigned with yourself. Maybe you've been for so long spending time with someone else and your essences have been mixing together to the point where there is no longer a you. But right now it is time for you to find out who you really are on your own. And the best way to go about it is don't cling to anything. Don't hold on to anything. Let go of every notion of control. Let go of every expectation. Let go of everything and just take life as it unfolds. It will be the easier way for you to deal with whatever situation you're experiencing during July. And for you to release yourself. Which is what I think it is like the main message for Aquarius during this month. Then the second advice would be the 5 of Cups reverse and the Sun reverse. Sadness blocks you. Sorrow blocks your heart. whatever feeling of frustration or whatever dense feeling in your heart, sadness, sorrow, regret, nostalgia, anything of the sort, is the only thing it will do is shut you down. It will not lighten your life up. So if you need time to feel sad, if you need time to cry, that's one of the best ways to get over sadness. I'm not sure if you know that, but if you're feeling sad, the best thing you can do is cry. Literally. Because at the moment you're crying, the very moment you're letting go. But if you repress that sadness, I don't have to cry, I can't do this, it will grow and it will fester on your soul because you're not expressing it, you're just repressing it. So please, if you're feeling sad or afraid or whatever, do express it. It will be the best healer for you. At the same time, there has to be a point where that sadness has to be transmuted into hopefulness. And that is up to you. So basically these two cards mean that if you're feeling disappointed or sad, yes, process that, but realize that sadness is only blocking you in a moment where you should be free to experience whatever experience you could experience, so to speak. And the last advice is Judgment. Here's the card of decision. This is the card of decision. This is the card of you having to face the situation one-on-one and saying, you know what, my truth is this. And having the final say. Didn't appear before, but it is right here at the end. Which means that, yes, Aquarius, this is something you need to make your mind up. You need to put your foot down. You need to decide. You need to choose. And choose wisely. Because you need to choose freedom, not codependency, not fear, not incapacity to follow your dreams or anything like that. You need to choose for yourself. Before we go into the last short but very important reading, we have the 3 cards that will sum up this entire reading for July. And these 3 cards are basically King of Swords reversed, King of Cups reversed. You're not thinking straight. Your emotions are not real. You're letting your emotions rule over your truth. Now, you know, sometimes spiritual teachings say, oh, just follow your heart. Pay no attention to your mind, just follow your heart. And that's very wise and that's very beautiful. But then again, there are some situations where you have to recognize that you are letting your emotional nature, your inner child, make some choices that are not good for you. And this is because you're innocent and you don't know any better. I'm being serious here. Like you know, this combination of cards, they are speaking about you actually not being in love with this person. If this is about love, if this is about a relationship, these 2 cards are saying you are not in love. You are needy. You are feeling lonely. And when you feel lonely, you want to go back. But it is not true love. There is something more to know about love, and you will never experience that unless you give yourself the chance to do so. But in order for you to give yourself the chance, you have to realize the truth. And you already know the truth, Aquarius, you just don't want to face it. Not judging, as I always say, you're free to do whatever it is that you want to do. But then again, you are watching this video looking for another perspective, and I really believe that the perspective I'm offering you is pointing to the fact that you're letting yourself be misguided by some wrong notions of what it is that you're feeling. What you really want is this. I feel freedom of movement, of consciousness, of experiencing, no rules, just being able to enjoy life as it comes. But there is something draining your soul with sadness or this dense energy, and that has to go, because it is like a very strong nail in your heart. Take it out. You don't have to deal with it anymore. The second card is the Moon, reverse, which is exactly what I was saying before. You're facing your own fears. This is not love. This is an illusion. You have to be capable of going on your own for a while. It is the best thing for you. And then we have the King of Pentacles, which means that the only reason why you are still lingering there is because you're comfortable. This is land you already know, so you don't have to really make any kind of effort to get what you want. But what you want is not exactly what you are, what you are getting, which is what you think you want, is not really what you want. Because what you're getting is something that is keeping the pain at bay, but it is not giving you the love you're seeking. If what I'm feeling is correct. And I invite you to consider my words in your own reality and to use your intuition. Because my honest intention is not to influence on your decision. I'm just trying to look at the facts from a different perspective, that's all. A more spiritual perspective, a more empty perspective. A perspective that places your own enlightenment, your own awakening as a priority. And sometimes on the way to enlightenment, we have to realize that some things are working more as a blindfold than as a guiding light. So these are the 3 keys of your liberation. They are optional because they are very tough challenges. I don't blame you if you're not capable of following through, but I encourage you to try because there is much to be gained from this. 9 of Pentacles means that you need to think about the things you want. You need to think about the things you want to get, the things you want to gain. There is much to be gained indeed. But this benefit, this reward, this dream you're looking for, certain actions are necessary before that. And I'm asking, are you willing to take those chances? The opportunities may not present themselves again. And I don't really want to hurry you up with that statement. I seriously don't want to hurry you up. I want you to take as much time as you need in your own process, because you are wiser than me in your own life. But I do want to present to you the fact that some chances are once in a lifetime. And if you're living the way life is meant to be lived, in the realization that we are mortal and that we will die someday, so make every day count, I'm asking you, are you making the most out of your days? Or are you investing time in things that are not giving you the return you're expecting? Are leaving you quite disappointed, to be honest? Think about it. What are the 3 keys of liberation? We have the Princess of Wands reversed and the 10 of Swords. Ten of Swords will always mean the end of a cycle. It is a very painful ending because it is not an ending you agree with. It seems to me that the Ten of Swords speaks about you having the thought that you wanted something else. But the thing is, the perspective you are changing is actually something that was bringing you down, that was limiting you. So yes, you may be feeling like the situation you're experiencing is a ruin, or basically it is making you miserable. But again, remember the first card that fell over, gain. Yes, you are losing something that may have been very important to you, but what is left? You may be inclined to say nothing, and that's exactly what you should be looking for, because nothing will turn into something eventually. You see, that's like the clearest reference to an unblocking of energies. If you were feeling blocked, this is the necessary action that will unblock you, will unstuck you, and will leave you in the perfect position for you to move on. This is a new start. But it's a new start that tastes wrong because you were liking the previous taste. This is a very funny analogy, but let's carry on. Basically, like, you are used to this kind of life, but the more you go into this kind of life, the more you realize that you are ready to live something different. But at the same time that something different is approaching, for that something different to happen, the previous thing needs to end first. And that ending does not feel nice because it is an ending, and saying goodbye will always hurt, especially if you really care about the other person. But it is something you must accept. we are going to understand more after these two cards. Princess of Cups. Even though this ending sucks because yes, you are capable of seeing the value in it, like you're capable of understanding logically why it has to happen, it still has you down, like, oh, I don't really want to do this, why do I have to do this? I understand I have to do it, but this is like a part of my soul. And yes, that's true, but then again, your heart has been longing for so long for different things. And this is the first card that is upright, the first cup cards that is upright. And it talks about you realizing that through this action you will be able to fulfill your heart. Why is that? Because after you're done with this situation, you will have all the space you have to commit to your own emotional needs. You will have no blocks, which is exactly what I said before. So think more from your heart. Whenever you're feeling down about the things you lost, or whenever you're feeling down about the sacrifices you had to make, or the cycles you had to end, write, cry if you must, or let that sadness go, but then think about the things you want now. Think about the things you want to love next. Don't linger on that imagination, but again, the best way to let go of the old is dreaming about the new. And this is the transition phase. So what you're looking for, what you are searching for, is a mechanism in your mind that allows you to let go of the old with the less amount of pain and to look forward to the future with the highest amount of expectation. How you go about that is depends on your own mastery, but I'm telling you the goal you need to search for. You need to pay more attention to the emotional future you can create for yourself, not to the sacrifices you had to make. And finally, we have the Star reversed and the Sun reversed. That's a very interesting combination of cards. The situation you are living in right now is one of the best situations you could live. The only reason why you could be feeling bad is because you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. Maybe you feel as if part of your soul was taken away from you. But the thing is, you must realize that's actually a good thing. Because if part of your soul has been taken away and you're still here, that means that actually that wasn't part of your soul. Otherwise you couldn't be here anymore. So what I'm trying to say with this, Aquarius, is basically that you have to learn how to shine from within. You have to learn how to be okay on your own. You have to learn how to rely on yourself. You have to be okay with you being the most powerful character in your life right now. So when I take a look at this reading, I see you with all the energy to put in your projects, but your heart is feeling kind of wounded, and that wound is taking your energy away because you're feeling pain after something you no longer can control. And well, being an air sign, being a fixed air sign, you really like keeping things under control, like having a situation that is predictable. So if the situation is not predictable according to your own view, it is really uncomfortable because you do not know what you're dealing with. And if you're losing something very important to you right now, or someone very important to you right now, you will have the tendency to feel frustrated because you simply don't understand why this is happening. But I want to remind you that the reason why this is happening is to set you free. And you may not agree with it, and that's perfectly fine. But I bet, again, what I said before, I bet that deep down inside you, you know this is good for you. So it is a matter of letting that knowledge, that inner wisdom, to let that inner wisdom have the strength, be stronger than any doubts or hesitation or questioning you have in your mind. Let this be your truth, not this. Let the mind rest. Let these questionings rest, and instead try to fulfill your dreams. Try to act in a way as if you have just been born and you're just here. This is the start of the movie, you know? Anything that happened before this reading has been only the introduction to yourself now, here. And you have two choices to make, two possibilities. You can either look back and keep looking back and saying, why did that happen? Why? Why couldn't I stop it? Why couldn't I change it? Or you can take that as your leverage so you can work for yourself to create a better future using the wisdom of those same experiences. It doesn't like, again, this analogy I'm giving you, building something new is not gonna heal you from the wounds of the past. I get it. The past is already done. But that's the best choice you can make, transmuting the pain, transmuting the disappointment, transmuting those failed experiences maybe, or transmuting whatever happened into something that you can build for yourself, here, now, at the present moment. That is not gonna happen if you keep having these thoughts that are bringing you down based on things that cannot longer be controlled or recovered or anything. So instead of killing your own spark, instead of letting go of your path, instead of forgetting your purpose and the things you can share with others, try to tend to your wounds, try to look inside your heart, and you have to transmute, you have to admit, you have to accept this as ended, but at the same time this is ending, something else is beginning. That new beginning. Is it gonna be a sad one or is it gonna be a hopeful one? The decision is yours. And I really hope you can decide for your own future, because that's the best way to turn things around. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me and for trusting my words, because it is my honest intention to help you out. And if you want to contact me for a personal reading, you can always do so through the mail down below in the description box. I wish you the very best, Aquarius. Take good care. Peace.